Whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you. Through the ground, you can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at, and turn it back around. You can't stop me.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Slate Call Show. Tonight, sitting down with me is Susie, and you've got a new book out, 1 of 10. You're running classes all over the place. How did you get into social media, honey?
Look, I resisted it like everybody else because I was busy being busy. So really it's just looking at how can we leverage our brand? How can we get seen, get heard, get paid, get celebrated for all the work that you're doing? So social media really allows us all to do that and having our clients get more exposure, right? I've been teaching business for 30 years. It's my passion. I built 10 businesses, 10 multi-million-dollar businesses, 2 $10 million businesses. Not my first rodeo. So this is my love and my passion.
And it's changing.
Oops, changing.
30 years ago, business, we were sending postcards and letters and attending dinners with very bad food.
There was no podcast. Trainings were an anomaly. There was no YouTube, so you couldn't have training at your fingertips. You had to go search and find it, right? Bookstores, that was our resource. Bookstores, you go to bookstores to find out what you needed to do. I think back when I first started, I would, that was my weekends, going to bookstores. I need a marketing campaign, go to a bookstore. I need to figure out my finances, go to a bookstore. Right. So I don't have a business degree. My business degree is School of Hard Knocks and keep starting businesses and selling businesses. So
right. So what is the Power of Profits book?
So the Power of Profits, this, like you said, it's my 10th book, published by Simon & Schuster. And it is my journey to build $10 million companies. Right. How do you build it from start to finish? Right. No one gave me money. No one taught me how to do this. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm rogue. Right. I'm a creative. My background is I'm a creative. Right. I was a hairdresser back in 1982. And as a hairdresser, did $250,000 a year. And the average hairdresser was doing about 30 grand a year. Built one of the largest salons and spas in the country. We're top 1% in the nation, top 10% in the world. And Paul Mitchell said, how are you doing that? Can you teach our salons and spas? Look, and I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, sure, I can teach them. How hard can that be?
Yeah.
Sure, I have a couple kids. How hard can that be? Right.
Right. No big deal.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't doing it for money. I was doing it for passion, right? Doing it because I want to contribute to my industry and teach people what I had to learn the hard way. Right. And then they would say, oh my God, Susie, do you have a book? I'm like, no, I don't have a book. I'm a hairdresser. No, I'm just sharing the good news, right? I just want to support you. And they're like, if you wrote a book, we would buy it. So I'm like, okay, I'll write a book. Right?
Yeah, I got time. So I have an off-topic question for you. Do you keep your cosmetology license up?
Of course.
Okay.
I can't pay retail. I'm too frugal.
Well, no, the reason I was asking that was, another star, Tammy Wynette, her whole country career, she was a multi-millionaire, all that. She made sure to keep that cosmetology license up. And I'm like,
you never know.
Hairdressers are always hairdressers.
You never know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
My dad always said, gotta have a plan B. So, I'm on plan B, right? I haven't done hair in 22 years, but I got it still.
And you can still go in there, and the frost is a frost, whether it's a blonde frost, or if we're going down to purple.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the book, does it take you step by step, or how did you start into the process of this book?
Yeah. So I really looked at, because students wanted to know, I'm very systemic. What's the system? What's the strategy? Now, although it is in a sequential order, you don't have to read it in a sequential order. Because what I know about entrepreneurs is you might have your marketing down, but your finances suck. Well, go to chapter 8 and read Math is Money, Money is Fun. Or you might have that handled, but you don't know how to sell. Go to chapter 6, selling your products and services. Right. So it allows you, because entrepreneurs were A, B, C, elephant, zebra, Q, R, S, T. Right?
Course side.
Right. But then my procedure people, they're like, I need a procedure. I need it organized. Right. So thank God you had a great editor, because she helped me really put it into,
Cool.
so the beginning is start with a plan, get the plan out of your head. Most entrepreneurs, 90% of them, when I start working with them, they don't have a plan. They're like, oh, I have a business plan. It's here. Okay, that's not a business plan.
That's not a business plan. I've got
no, and I use my business plan what's that?
I have a lovely business plan, but you know where it's at? It's in a file box.
Yeah, in a drawer.
Guess where it has been since the day I walked out of SBA? In the file box, up in the attic.
Right. Well, I use mine every day, right? It's in ClickUp. So every single day, someone's asking for something. My bio, how big is our reach? What's our marketing strategy? Especially when you start dealing with partners, right? They want to know, just like your bio said for you, we have 20 million downloads, 20 million listeners, right? That's important to know. Now you know that because but if my team doesn't know that, how can they communicate? So
when do you get to that step of a team?
When do I what?
When do you and your normal entrepreneurs get to that step of having a team?
It depends on how big you want to grow, right? So there's the solopreneur that you might be you and an assistant, right? The first person I always hire is an operations person, because they're the tactics, they're the meat and potato, they're putting my funnels together. I don't want to do that. I'm like everybody else, right? I know what I need. I know how to do them. I know if they're working or not working, but I'm not going to put them together. So your operations person, really, if you want to build, I help entrepreneurs build 7-figure businesses. Take your 6-figure business, build it to a 7-figure, right? And the difference is a couple zeros, right? People get so freaked out at $1 million. Although 1.7% of small businesses hit $1 million, and that's a tragedy. It doesn't have to be hard. It has to be strategic. Like, what do I need to do to hit that number? Right. And when you know what you need to do, right, it's a certain amount of clients, right, a number of units that you're selling to get you to that result. And pricing is a huge one. Out of that $1 million, so if only 1.7% hit that $1 million, 80% of those businesses aren't profitable. That's even scarier. But I had that too. My first salon and spa, we did $1 million. We did 1.1 and we lost 70,000 that year. And I'm like, how do you have $1 million business and lose money? Or dude, our pricing was off. Our pricing was off by $5. $5 times 300 clients times 12 months is $70,000. Yeah. Right. So we had to really look at, what does it have to be like? No kidding. So most of the tactics that are in the book are from my failures. To go, you got to know your base price. You got to profits plan for. Right. You can't just pull it out of your hiney and go, what does Susie charge? What does Aeson charge? What does Bob charge? What does Sally charge? And that's how we create pricing, right? Which is important. It's competitive analysis. Right. And competitive analysis, that's good, but your overhead and my overhead are different, right? I have a team. You might have a bigger team or smaller team. You have to take all that into consideration. Gotta have a team. Gotta have a team.
Yeah, well, I have an assistant who's here half the week. They'll answer the phone for me. But I think that as entrepreneurs, we have one big problem: letting go.
Or we don't know what to do with them, right? The first time I hired my assistant, I'm like, what are they going to do for me? And that control, I'm a control freak, so I'm with you, my brother. Definitely that's a hard one to let go of. And you realize, create a list of all the minutia you're doing. Right? What's the highest income producing activity only you can do? Right. And if you look at that, to go which is talking to clients, doing podcasts, doing some kind of speaking, getting yourself out there, networking partners. That's what we, as the leader and the founder of the business, can do. Let somebody else answer your emails. Let somebody else put the campaigns together. Let somebody else, follow up and do client fulfillment. Right. To look at, but we're not trained that way, right? I wasn't trained in any of this, right? I went to cosmetology school. And the reality, when you look at 15% of any business is the vocation we're in. So 15% of our success is just the technical work. So me now as a speaker, coach, it's me coaching and training. The other 85% is how are we selling, marketing, operations, finance, and how are we doing which most entrepreneurs, stick a needle in your eye. You'd rather, no, I don't want to do that either.
Sometimes I'd rather read a spreadsheet and look at a marketing campaign than just go and talk for 2 hours to people that are like, you do what?
Right.
I'm like, why did you call to book me? Oh, we thought it'd be fun. And it's like, well, that's cute.
Right.
This is the package you built.
Right.
We're talking spirit guides to marketing people.
Right.
This will be interesting.
Well, we look at that and we look at our ideal qualified client, right? Because a lot of people are marketing to fans, like people who love you and they might see you on social media. They might see you on TikTok. They might see you on the podcast. But fans aren't customers. We've got to convert them from being, oh my God, I love him, to the dollars, right? And the dollars and cents, to go, let's make this meaningful.
Right. How much is, about 10 years ago, our industry, psychics, got hit with this. You have to develop your brand. You've got to build your brand. How much is it brand and how much is it personality still?
Well, brand and personality really go hand in hand, right? So making sure that your brand matches your personality, because we've all seen that. Someone has a really sexy brand or a really high-end brand and they show up and you're like, did you just roll out of bed? Did you? Or let's face it, the reality is they look like a 6th grader built their website, right? Their brand does not match their image, their persona, who they are. So it's important. And we're judging moment by moment by moment.
Right.
Are you qualified to serve me? Are you qualified to deliver what you say you're going to deliver? The minute I go to your website or your business card and it looks like my child did it, you lose customers. And so even spelling, like that's not my skill set, right? Even though I've written 10 books, I've had an editor, because everything is an explanation point, and a comma is when I take a deep breath. Okay, comma. Semicolon, who knows? I don't know where that goes.
And that's an important factor, though, is we get a lot of people that want to write books and they're like, I can't spell with crap. And I'm like, text to speech is wonderful. Dragon saves as well. Google can now take voice command. Pretty soon, Alexa will be able to dictate for you.
Right. That's why we have great editors, right? Because I'm a great orator, right? I have amazing concepts. The minute I sit at a computer, my brain works too fast for my fingers. So I miss half of what I was thinking. So I have to have an editor that really pulls it out of me and puts it sequential. Because I am the typical entrepreneur. I'm going to start here and go here, and I'm going to start here and go here. When I first gave my editor the first draft of this book, she goes, Susie, you're cute. I'm like, what? She goes, there's 10 books here. I'm like, there's not 10 books. She goes, okay, 5. And I'm like, no. And I felt like there wasn't enough. I'm like, no, but there's more. She's like, we're going to do 1. And then when we're done with the 1, we'll do another one.
And we will break them down in pieces and sell them out in packages.
But you know how it is when you're with someone, you want to serve them and give them all the juiciness that they like. Oh, but wait, but they can't take it all. That people are like a sponge, right? When you get that dry, hard sponge and then you put water on it, at first it just spills over. So you got to drip it in slowly so they can absorb what it is you're saying, which has been my hardest lesson, because I want to give. I want to show you my value and serve you and coach you. And
well, and I think that's one of the
can't
things
handle it.
that hits on entrepreneurs is they don't realize how much, especially if they're just, walk in the office 9 a.m. and this go, got to answer these emails, take care of these calls, deal with these clients, this. They don't realize how much time that they're doing. Right. And before they know it, it's midnight. It's 1 a.m. Or worse, it's 8 a.m. and you just woke up with, a line across your forehead.
From being on the desk.
Yes.
And we've all been there. That's a good indication you might need a team, because we're trying to be the technician in the morning, in the daytime, and then run the business at night. And that's burnout. Yeah. Right. And a lot of entrepreneurs are experiencing that now with the panini. Right. If you look at, we're all working and we've had to shift our model so many times that you go cross-eyed. And the people that didn't shift are the people that went out of businesses. There was a stat in the SBA, 66% of small businesses went out of business in 2021, 66%. Now, the good news is, they probably should have never been in business, right? And so it level set everybody. We all had to start over. Even $1 million businesses that were doing that like clockwork, you completely had to pivot to go, oh, and a lot of businesses doubled and tripled inside of the Panini. Right. So when we look at that, it's like, oh, what am I doing? How do I do this differently?
Right. And what I'm seeing with that is a lot of us that were able to pivot and pivot quickly, we're already doing things. And it's just like, let's just do them a different way. Well, I'm already doing a podcast. I can teach class sitting here in my office. I can do this. Let's learn Zoom. Let's learn this. Let's figure out what this is.
And I think creatives can do that. I think the linear people had a little bit harder time adjusting. They're still waiting for it to get over. There were people that, woohoo, you know, I can, you know, stay home. And then there are people like, woohoo, day drinking, right?
And it's like, no, why would we be day drinking? We've got money to make. Let's go.
But some people, because they did get the stimulus funds, right? They just checked out. And now they're wondering what happened to my business, you know, because I checked out.
Right. And then you had the Paycheck Protection Program that came in there. What we're seeing now is a lot of those didn't even survive.
Right. But they ran through that money. I still have my EID loan in the bank. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm like, I'm going to have it and not need it, then need it and not have it. So just precautionary, just in case.
So what was your, you know, you went to teach you went to teach Pearl Neutral. When did you step into the coaching role?
So I had a training and development company, like once I figured out how to make money in this training and development space, but it was just in the beauty industry. We built the largest training and development company in the beauty industry, and we created the first membership site in the beauty industry. That was in 1998. Think about 1998. There was no WordPress. There was no Infusionsoft or ClickFunnels or Constant Contact or MailChimp. We had to build all that from scratch, right? I just knew they needed access. So I'm such an early adopter, right? And so we sold that company in 2007 to Ritger's Publishing. And I got out of the beauty industry at a non-compete at that time, and then started looking at what else would I do. And in 2008, the market crashed. And so at that time, we had about 10 million in assets in real estate, our portfolio. And so when the market crashed, we crashed. And my marriage of 17 years, right? Who said he'd never leave me, right? It was too much stress for him. He felt responsible because he was, you know, it was all his responsibility. So he moved to Thailand. So
interesting choice.
It's like, I'm out. I'm like, I want to go to Thailand. Like, well, what about me? And so what felt like overnight, I lost, you know, 90% of my wealth. And, you know, I remember just being on the floor bawling, thinking, why? I've been a good steward. I took all the coaching. I was responsible, right? I didn't overindulge. I gave back to my community. And those kinds of lessons, I always look at what is my lesson, right? What am I supposed to be learning here? Because I don't want to do this again. And I also felt like I didn't have 20 years to rebuild, because it took me 20 years to accumulate that much in assets. Right. I learned we were over leveraged in real estate, right? Heavily leveraged in real estate. So that was, but I was younger. I could risk, right? At 40.
Well, not only that was the old standard.
Right. Leverage.
Buy your house, then buy your neighbor's house and keep buying houses, because real estate's always real estate. You always own the real estate. No one can take the land from you.
Right.
Yeah, they can when there's mortgages on it.
Right. So that was the rug, man. From under me. And as I was having my pity party on the floor, you know, crying, I was like, what do I do now? Because I couldn't go back in that industry. And I had been playing in the entrepreneur space. I was teaching at this Millionaires Forum. And so I had two clients at that time, a woman by the name of Lisa Nichols. She was one of the top speakers in The Secret, one of the most top requested speakers. And then John Asseroff, who does brain science and brain genius. And so those were my two clients. And I said, well, I'm going to do for them what I did for myself and just build their business. So I took Lisa from 80,000 to 10 million, did a turnaround situation in John's company. And that really gave me okay, I know what I'm doing. Right. You know, because I felt like a fraud. Like, you're supposed to be this business coach and you just lost all your money. Well, the lesson is if you never can do it again, then it was a one-hit wonder.
Exactly.
But I have done it, business over business over business. I've done it for 10 different businesses,
Right.
at that time in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it was always my business, not somebody else's business. We had
Right.
coaching, but it wasn't the same as me owning it.
Exactly.
And so that was the precipice of going into entrepreneurship outside of the salons and spas. Because in the beginning, it was like, I don't know anything about being a psychic. I can't coach you. Right. And then you're like, but I love you. I want you to coach me. I'm like, I'm too scared.
Uh-huh.
I think that's when I'll call God, right? Just keeps pushing you in front of stuff to go, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Right. Here it comes again. Here it comes again.
Right. And, and for me, and when I work in coaching, it's a lot of, okay, so what is A plus B?
Right.
What do you love to do? What's making you money? And let's see how we can make this make you more money. And what do you not like to do? Okay, well, this is what you have to do.
Right.
You have to be on the Twitter. You have to be on the Facebook. Yes, I know Facebook is now meta and it's dying. And, we're going to have something new in 5 years.
Right.
And it's just like, learn, sit down and play. And something I get from a lot of entrepreneurs is I don't like fill in the blank social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you don't have to like it. You're not going there to like it. You're going there because your clients are there.
But most people don't realize that, right? They're not looking at it as a marketing avenue, even though we all know it is. Or it's the biggest challenge my team has with me. They're like, people want to hear more about you personally. I'm like, when I'm off, I'm off. I'm not taking pictures of me going, hey, I'm gardening, or hey, I'm rebuilding an office, or
strangest thing. Okay, my social media game's on, but I will post pictures of like my dinner.
Yeah.
I will get more comments, shares, and booked appointments from
on your dinner. Yeah.
And I will from the best ad, one of the testimonials of my clients, whatever, don't matter. Post a dinner picture. I'll have an appointment before I'm done eating it.
Exactly. It's so wild. So much more interaction. So I'm always having to go, okay, just let me get this out of the way for my team and send it to them. And, so they're that's the personality videos, right? Personality posts, personality videos, right? They want credibility too. So they want to see that you're credible and you have that experience. And so there is a system inside of it. And again, if you hate doing it, sell some more clients so that you can hire someone else to do it.
Right.
That's really, you start looking at, it's not the highest income producing activity for me to be managing my social media. And people are doing it every day. No, use a calendar system, right? Exactly. Use Hootsuite or something else, or Meet Edgar, somewhere where you're just putting it in there versus every day entrepreneurs are going, oh, I got to post on social media. Oh, I got to do a video. Oh, like, okay, no.
Batch that crap. Sit down, do 50 of them. Clear Saturday, do 50 videos.
Yeah.
Or take something like, we're going to reuse this. Be done with it.
Exactly. Yeah, we call that batching, right?
And get it over.
Exactly. And once you write a book, everyone that's in a profession, I don't care what profession you're in, you should write a book. A book, man, game changer. I didn't believe that, but when I first wrote my very first book, I went from people not returning my calls to people now returning my calls. Mm-hmm. And a best-selling author on top of that, that's a whole nother game, right? So it's important. It builds your credibility. Mm-hmm. It's an expensive business card, but a business card that you need for the credibility of your vocation, because they're going to choose someone. You can choose someone that is a published author, best-selling author, expert in that field, or someone, right? So it is that credibility piece that you need. Mm-hmm. This is book number 10, so there's something to it, right?
So what's your writing process like?
What I do is compile all the information.
Okay.
And then I put it in a 3-ring binder. And so from your classes that you're doing, like I write out 10 chapters. I write down the 10 chapters. And then in the 10 chapters, what are the 5 things I want to cover in each chapter? Okay. Not 100 things, 5 things. And then from the 5 things, what's the one story that's going to make that chapter sing? What's a client story? What's a client testimonial? It could be your testimonial. And so that starts to write itself. So then when you sit down, you have the chapter, You have the 5 things. Under the 5 things, so let's say, I'll say business plans, right? You've got to do your sales, your marketing, your operations, your finance. So those would be the chapters, the topics in there. And then I would talk about sales. What are the 5 things they have to know? And then I would talk about marketing. What are the 5 things they have to know? And then operations, 5 things. Because if you sit down and just try to write this book, that's where writer's block comes from. It doesn't just flow that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really look at, let me put it in buckets, and then the book kind of writes itself.
Right.
Then my editor goes through and then she helps me make it sing, right? Because again, I do not have the Queen's English, right? Making sure that it's all making sense and it's all tied together.
Right.
So it'll take anywhere between 3 months and a year, depending on your work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've had clients that have done it longer, 5 years, 7 years, but that's just procrastination. I'm looking at, in a real book, right? This is 300 pages. It's a real book, not a pamphlet or.
Right. It's not 20 pages and stapled together. And then do you say go through a publisher, or do you say self-publish?
This one was Simon & Schuster, one of the biggest publishers. And the goal with this book was to get one of the big 5s, which was Simon & Schuster. My previous books were all under my own publishing company. I started my own publishing company, Carter Creative Enterprises. And I did that because I got denied from the one publisher we had in that industry, right? And they said, well, we don't want your book. There was no other publisher in that industry. So I'm like, fine, I'll start my own publishing company. Not that I knew what that meant. But all that other work was self-published. Mm-hmm. And I would say your first book, you should self-publish, build some traction, build some book sales. You can still get that book published by a major publisher because a book is sold by really how many books you can sell. Right. When you look at a publisher, and no one's giving
flavor at the time.
Exactly. And no one's giving 6 or 7-figure deals away anymore. We got a 6-figure deal for ours, which was unheard of. We got Lisa a 7-figure deal for her book, but it's all about the book proposal. The book proposal is what sell the book, not the concept of the book, right? It's all marketing. Can you sell it? And how many can you sell? And what are you promising? And what are you going to deliver? And then they're going to write a check or not write a check.
Right. And, is it within what we're looking to stir the industry with? And we see this in tarot. We see this in crystal books. We see this in, social media books. I mean, come on. When the Thank You Economy came out from Gary Vaynerchuk, marketing books switch. I mean, it was like, I think he published on a Wednesday. By Thursday, there was 30 different books about giving back to your clients, valuing your clients, building that relationship, and how to do it. And I'm like, really? Okay.
Well, when you look at publishers, different publishers are different genres, right? Which I learned in this process. Like Wiley approached us, but Wiley is really a technical publisher, right? Where Simon & Schuster is more of a big house publisher. So when you can't go to Simon & Schuster, they're probably not going to publish something on psychic ability, right? Or spirituality. They're just too linear.
I'm going to Llewellyn, or I'm going to Red Wheel, or I'm going to Bamboo Press. I'll deal with the agents I already know I deal with, because we're in the industry, and it's like, here you go, or here's the deck of cards that have been sitting on the shelf for 20 years that are just sitting there. But let's take this smaller scale. Let's talk about the single mom that doesn't have a job, that needs to be able to take care of kids and run a business. What's her first 3 steps?
Yeah, so that's great that you started that way. That's how I started. I started bootstrapping. I was a single mom raising 2 little girls, and I had a bad picker. I just want to say that out loud. The man I married, I had no child support, no alimony, right? And I'm like, okay, so all of a sudden I'm now taking care of these 2 kids, and had to make 6 figures. I lived in San Diego, so 6 figures is not a lot of money when you're in these big cities. Right. And so it's really about who is that ideal qualified client. I put a plan together, your financial plan. The best decision I made, I remember she was $1,200. So it was $1,200 to either pay my rent or hire this coach, right? So she helped me put together my plan, right? Really getting clear on the demographic, psychographic, and geographic of my customer, because it was a brick and mortar business. Right. It wasn't an online business back then, right? And then my pricing, what should I be charging? In that community. She told me to move to a more affluent community, but I was too scared, right? Because I didn't think my clients would go that far. And I started networking, right? Just it's who you know, what you know, and how fast can you do it. I didn't have the luxury of not doing it and going, oh, my bills will be paid. No, if I didn't do something, I didn't eat, right? Or my kids didn't eat, or I didn't pay my bills. So you can't have a back door. I see so many entrepreneurs have a back door, meaning they have a husband, they have a, you know, maybe savings or another job. If you close that back door and you have no excuse, you have no wiggle room, you'll see what you're made of. Right. And I found out really quickly what I was made of. So that first year, being all on my own, my baby was 6 months old. My oldest daughter was 18 months old. Right. So they were still little when I did it. Had to pay for daycare, had to pay rent in the salon that I was working in, you know, to make it all happen. Every dollar that came in, 50 cents went to me, 50 cents went back into the business, right? For my marketing costs, for, you know,
to cover your overhead.
The old, you know, the advertising, newspaper ads, right? You think back in the day, right? Like you said, direct mail. We were doing direct mail back then because I had to get clients in. You know, I had to get 30 new clients in a month for me to make my numbers. And so I wasn't a math person, did not like math, but I had to figure it out so that I could take care of my family.
Right. And then you had to keep what, 78% retention rate?
So we had 87% retention rate.
Wow.
So we have a really good retention rate. But that industry is easy too if you're doing the right systems, rebooking them and
to a point. To a point it's easy.
Yes. You gotta be good.
You gotta be good. You gotta know how to talk.
Well, and everything boils down to a formula, right?
Right.
So when you look at, are you following the formula, right? And that's what we taught salons and spas is quit making it, are you having a good day or a bad day, right? If you're going to rebook, you have to rebook someone, you have to follow a script, right? You have to upsell somebody, you have to follow a script, right? Versus victory days, you have that victory day where everybody said yes, well, you're probably in a good mood. You know, you probably, everything was aligned that day, right? The cosmos worked for you. And so, but you got to create those victory days every day. And I had those too, right? High, low, low, and go, what am I doing on these days that I'm not doing on these days? Right. You have a really good day. The next day you're like, I'm tired. I got to lay down. Right? And to go, oh, so started scripting what I was saying on those victory days, right? To really reverse engineer what I was doing to get every client to say yes. Right. And then documented it. And people are like, well, how are you doing that? Here's how I did it. It's, you know, we call it the needs analysis. To find the need, fill the need, find the need, fill the need, which is classic sales training. But back in the day, I didn't know that. I was just like, what am I doing?
They don't teach that in cosmetology school. They don't teach that in psychic school. You know, and now it's even worse. You got to have hashtags and keywords, and you got to have this, that, and another. And it's even more than just, here's a microphone, talk.
Right.
Here's a client, analyze them, sell them up, get them sold, you got terrible hair quality. Let's put you into this shampoo, this conditioner, and I'm going to show you how to do your hair in 20 minutes or less.
Right. Well, it's also seeding the next appointment, right? So when you're doing a reading, you want to seed that next appointment to go, let's unlock this next, or, let's do this next, or, what was the value of this and how could it be beneficial to you to do it again? Because some people, like you said, that event, we thought it would be fun. Okay, but it's also a really good strategy. So how can you use this in your business, in your life? You can have the results you want to unblock all that stuff that you need to unblock. Yeah. Right. So I grew up in that world. My mom was, she loved reading tarot cards and loved going to psychic. So as little kids, we were always at the psychic tent and,
Well, you came up in California, honey. Last time I was out to LA, I'm sorry, there's one of me on every corner with better signage than I get in this state.
There is. But I think now, culturally, everyone's being a little bit more open. People are looking for spirituality versus church, right? Because the church is dysfunctional and they're going, wait, I'm spiritual. What does that mean? So there's this new inquiry. And we should, everyone in this industry should leverage that to go, here's this new inquiry. Here's what it is. Here's what it isn't. Because I think people still put it in woo-woo, right? I have a theta healer that I use every month, and she just blows open what happens versus therapy. Like, therapy is great, but she just blows the lid off because we get to this higher level. When I first started working with her, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but man, I had some breakthroughs, right? Quicker, faster.
Very cool. And that happens when you make a great connection. And you said something a minute ago, and it really resonates in our industry. Not every client is your client.
Yeah, and all money's not good money.
No, all money is not good money. A problem that I've been fighting in this industry for a very long time is networks that pay you like 25 cents a minute. It's like,
Right.
That's like doing supercuts, honey. Let me translate to English. That's like doing supercuts.
Right. Well, and sometimes when you think about it, you might have to do that stuff short term to get to your long term, right? Give you some quick exposure, get you in a lot of experience so that you can really test your genius. I think we've all done stuff like that.
Right.
Then you're like, okay, I learned a lot, but that's not me.
Right.
So what can I learn inside of this season? So I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's like, are you leveraging it? Don't get stuck there, especially when you're first starting out. What's that path for you? Because again, no one's going, here's the path, right? Let me show you how to build this business called psychic.
Right.
I don't know if y'all have a business school like that, right?
We technically do not, although somebody may be developing some courses.
But it's so important, right? To be able to speak that language, to be able to, here's what you do, and I'm a testament to that, right? The only reason I'm successful is because I've done it 10 times, and I've built 2 $10 million companies and $7 million companies to go, just do this, right? Not that.
Follow this formula.
And right. I've also been bankrupt. I've also had businesses fail. So it's not just high, right?
Okay.
But you learn just as much.
$7 million companies and the 2 $10 million companies. What was your worst business decision you ever made?
The hardest $1 million I ever made, I will tell you that, was the online business in 2000.
Okay.
Because we were such early adopters. And in that industry, only 53% of the industry was using computers at that time. And so I had to teach them why they needed this membership site and then why they needed to use a computer.
Right.
It felt like every month I was trying to just save them from hanging themselves. Like, I don't use that. Like now, pretty much everybody either uses their phone as a computer, or they're using a computer as a computer, or they're running their business that way. So that was the hardest $1 million. I will say that. Some of the stupidest business decisions I made was partnerships. I was too scared in the beginning to go out on my own. And I've had some great friendships. And the first one that comes to mind, she was an amazing salesperson. I had all the content. Right. But I was still nervous to sell back then. I wasn't as comfortable as I am now. And, new in business. And so this partnership, she ended up being bipolar, which I didn't know. Right. And the experience of knowing her. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with someone who's bipolar, but it truly is high, high, low, low. Right. And now, because that industry is full of it, but I didn't know. Right. And so, we didn't have everything in writing.
Right.
I didn't have my assets protected. So she literally took all my assets, repackaged them, made them her assets. So I created my biggest competitor. And then I went and did it again, right, with somebody else. Because again, she's too nervous to do it on my own. Right. And she went into a different industry. So she didn't take any of my stuff. But that first one, she's still doing it today. Right. And like, every time I hear her name, I just want to spit. But that was my naivety, right? I was the ding dong. I didn't have contracts. I didn't protect my assets. Nothing was copywritten, but I didn't know, right? I was 25 years old, right? What do you know then? Nothing.
You make those business decisions. I think, the worst one I ever done was signing with a company in India.
Right.
Oh, international psychic. Yeah, I am an international psychic. Okay, well, we'd like you to read for India. Great. We'll have to pay you in rubles. Okay.
The conversion. I got a lot of millions, but that doesn't mean anything in US dollars. Right. I have a company that we run in Singapore. And so I'll get the P&L and I'm like, oh, okay. It's because they're in pesos, right? In Singapore. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not a lot of money.
Right. Like that is.
I'm like, wow, we had a great month. Oh, okay, no, wait, let me convert that.
Yeah, let me get the converter out, and then let's wait till and I think I figured out it was like the third week of every month is when I would cash out because their money is higher.
Yeah.
Comparative to the dollar than at the first of the month for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's kind of like Brazil, right? Brazil, they have to, every day they're like, not trading my money today, not doing it today. Nope, not buying that today. Like they're looking at, the value every day. It's like, oh my God, that's stressful.
And I was like, I think I kept that contract for like 90 days, and I was like, nah, we can't continue this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's hard
Well,
for an entrepreneur to say it's time to stop this.
Right. My training business was called Salon Training International. And I remember the first time a French company came to me and said, "Oh, do you have trainers who speak French?" And I'm like, "I do not." We can get a translator. They're like, "You're an international company." I'm like, "I will find somebody."
Exactly.
Again, naive, right? You create this name and all of a sudden the demand is there. Like, "Oh, what other languages do you teach in? Spanish, French, German, English?"
English, which I'm going to say this as an international reader. I get better English speakers out of countries that I would like France, South American customers, because I only speak English.
Right.
They speak better English than I do. Okay?
Right.
I know I've got Southern all the way through my English, but they speak very good English. So I wouldn't find that to be a major issue. Did you?
Well, when we went to Taipei, a very political climate, and we had an interpreter, and we couldn't say things because there was the military in the audience. So if you do anything that seems like you're rallying the crowd to like for a movement, and especially any kind of spiritual movement or godlike thing. So we were. The interpreter was great. He goes, "If you say anything like that, I'll change the word." Right. So that you're not going to get in trouble. Right. But then we did this. So the book that we were launching back then was called No Matter What. And it was boo rah hoorah was no matter what. And so the trainer I was training with, she's pointing to the sky, boo rah hoorah. They all get on their chairs, boo rah hoorah, right? They're all no matter what. And the translator's like trying to shut it down. They're like, you got to shut this down. This looks like a movement. This looks like, we're like, oh my God, we're going to be put in jail in a foreign country. So those things you just don't know, right? When you travel and do business international.
Right. It's like when I have a client in China, we cannot talk government or politics.
No.
At all. And they will try, and it's like, honey, I'm not talking that with you because I like having you as a customer.
I'm not going to jail for anybody. Orange is not the new black.
Well, not only that, but you're not going to jail either. Right. Because there is a double situation. Right.
But you don't know, right? When you start thinking, oh, I want to do international business, there's a lot of decorum that we have to follow that you're either going to learn the hard way, like boo rah hoorah, and the military comes after you, right? Or you learn from trial and error, right? They also said, don't make eye contact. They're like, we need you to be very presidential. Or what the hell does that mean? Look above their heads. Well, we're Americans. We don't look above people's head. That's rude. We're going to make eye contact. Dude, the minute you made eye contact, it was like permission to come into your space.
Right.
And they mobbed us. Like people were literally fainting. Like, we're nobody. It's like fainting and passing out because they touched us. Oh my God, this is different.
Yes, it very much is. And it's getting into that energy. So I got a different question for you. What's your morning routine?
So I live in Oregon. And right now I just moved and I live on a river. And so I get up, I do my prayer, my meditation, and look at the river. And then I spend time with my man. And then I call my kids and have conversations with them. Then I get ready for work. And then I come into work. And that first 30 minutes, I'm in my email, prioritizing what needs to get done. And then I'm into my day.
Okay.
And so, and then I'll exercise, right? So I have a Peloton. So that's my new favorite thing. But I don't do that every day, right? That's every
day.
I'd like to, but I'm not going to lie. I don't do it every day.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've seen that. I've seen the Pelotons and a lot of my customers have them. And I'm like, don't get on that every day.
Oh my God. I love it.
Come out of your office chair because you'll be stuck there.
Right.
And, when people get something new, they want to do it right through, all the way through, hit hard. And I'm like, no, you need stability. You need to have that longevity built up there.
Right.
Yeah. So you've got a seminar coming up this weekend.
We do. It is a profit planning, wealth creation seminar, Friday from 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 3 p.m. I found that everybody with the panini They have panini fatigue, financial fatigue, Zoom fatigue, right? So we're like, how do we, again, give our clients what they want, right? So our clients really said, we used to do 3 days. And they're like, we love you, Susie, and we don't want to do 3 days. I'm like, okay, well, let's pivot it. So you can go to our website, susiecarter.com. It's right on the homepage. And that's CARD as in dollar, dinero, delicious, ER, right? So Susie Carter. My social media handles the same way, so you can find us there as well to really see. And it's all about day one. The first part of the morning, we look at the money, right? So you have a financial blueprint. And then mid-morning, we look at what is your offer and how do you package it? Most people are packaging their offers too low because there's so many marketers out there going, just sell the low-hanging fruit. Well, you don't have enough leads in your database to sell the low-hanging fruit, right? You don't have enough, if you look at a $99 or some people are doing $7, do you know how many $7 things you got to sell to hit $100,000? You got to sell 14,000 $7 things to hit $100,000. Or you could sell $10,000 things, right? A year-long package, whatever that is, and still meet your $100,000, right? And then you multiply that, whether you want to do $500,000, $1 million. So we take this thing and make math fun.
Right.
And then the last part of the day is all about where is that ideal qualified client? Where are they at? How do I find them? How do I attract them? Who is that for me? Because everyone's different. Right. I don't know about you, but I'm done pushing people uphill. Either you're coming to me and you want what I have, but I'm not going to convince you how great you are. I'm not going to convince you that you need this. You either know and you're going to do the work and get it done, and you can swipe the credit card. Right.
See, let's back this up because I do it a little different. You come to me because you know you want my services. You swipe that credit card and then we talk.
Exactly.
Because I don't know. I've never hunted for business.
That's
I've
awesome.
always let business come to me. Now I'll market, social media market, feedback, all that. Here's, the videos, this, that, and another. Oh, this is a new platform. Let's go check it out. But my weakness in general has always been hunting, trying to convince someone they need a reading because they don't need a reading then.
No. Right. Well, in business, like people think there's a sprinkle fairy dust, right? They're like, oh, let's sprinkle fairy dust. It's going to happen. No, you got to do the work. It's not this doesn't magically happen. You got to actually do what I say to do. I always tell my clients, do what I say you're going to do. You can have miracles, right? I had Melissa who came to me 1 hour coaching. She did $123,000 that weekend because she had the system.
Wow.
Right? My client Ozimba, we had 2 hour session, helped him put his proposal together. He closed a $500,000 contract with the city of Ohio. Right. So when you know what to put in place and when you know what order to put in place, it's just about strategy and systems.
Right.
And so people just don't know. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years in every industry imaginable. And so when I look at it, it's like, oh, don't do that, do this. And business is business, right? Whether you're reading tarot cards, whether you're selling, book.
Social media is the same social media. The bank talks to you the same. I don't care if you got $10 in your account or 10,000.
Right.
Yeah. So what has been your weirdest business coaching situation? Your weirdest business you've coached people through?
Oh, the weirdest business. I will give you the weirdest business. So I had this kind of like a Lowe's, right? So think about a hardware store. And so again, I don't know anything about hammers except for when I need to hang a picture.
Right.
And so in the middle of the hardware store, so they have this hardware store. The hardware store was doing about $500,000. And in the middle of the hardware store, the mom didn't want to sell hammers. So she sold diamonds, and not cheesy diamonds, nice diamonds, right? Real diamonds. Right. And so in the middle, the diamond store was doing $2 million. The hardware store was doing $500,000. Okay. And so when I met the company, his name was Barry. He said, I think we want to pull out the jewelry store and put it in an anchor place. I'm like, well, no, hold on. Mom was brilliant because men aren't comfortable in high-end jewelry stores, right? They feel pressured. They feel like they got to dress different. But in a hardware store, and she knew everybody in the community, right? Because the business has been there for 20, 30 years. Right. And so she'd be like, hey, Bob, it's your anniversary. What are you getting her? You need to get her this watch, right? She had really nice watches and really nice diamonds. Right. And, so we kept the hardware store and the diamond store together and took it to 10 million, right?
Uh-huh.
By really leveraging and putting marketing systems in place, right? Building a database, because it was all mom in the beginning, like, oh, she knew everybody by name. They didn't really have an aggregated database, and just putting systems in place to be able to double, triple their business. So that was the weirdest one outside of the wild animal park. That was pretty weird too. Like a wild animal park. I know nothing about a wild animal park, right? So like had to figure out how much to charge and where's the revenue streams. And, you know, we did do, you know, a sex online couple, right? She sold sex. And so their coaching became more personal coaching because she never wanted to have sex after work, which I understand. She's having sex all day long. The last thing she wants to do is have sex when she gets off. So,
and that's a very difficult business situation.
Very difficult. And he was very rigid Catholic, grew up very rigid Catholic. So he was open-minded, but not open-minded. Yeah. So finally I'm like, you guys, I mean, we doubled their business, right? But the reality was they needed a therapist, right? You guys need a therapist. Like, I'm not a therapist. I do a lot of personal development, but I'm not a therapist. You guys have some stuff you got to work out. And so that was an interesting business, like coming up with campaigns and incentives for the customers. Because they do a lot of prize.
Interesting. That would be superiorly interesting to do.
My man gave me some good prizes, right? Because they wanted to give an iPad away. And he goes, nobody wants her iPad. They want her underwear. I'm like, oh my God, that's so true.
Right. I mean, and it's because of, and I'm going to put it to you this way, it's the industry and getting to know a little bit of the industry to get into. It's, at least for me, it's like right now I'm looking at an avenue and it's like, I know that one back and forth. I can do that one. I just don't know if I'll, you know, and this is a decision it's for the audience, but also when do you know to open the next business?
When do I know when to do the next business?
Yeah.
So it's when the opportunity arises, right? So now instead of trading time for dollars, I invest in the companies that I'm coaching, and so that I'm partners with them in their company. Because you know, I would build these companies to $5-10 million and walk away. I got paid very well, right? But I spent years building them and building the infrastructure. And so I think the opportunity is always around you. Are you seeing it? Are you open to it? I'm always open to it. The harder part is to say no.
Right.
Like I had 3 business opportunities, you know, at the first quarter that I had to say no, right? I was like, to turn that company around, you can't pay me enough. You can't pay me enough to do it. And then the rev share wasn't big enough for me to risk. So the harder thing is to be able to analyze it to go, I'm not going to make the money. And when you've been doing business for a long time, it's like being a parent. I mean, they go, oh, you want to have another kid? Oh, hell no. It's like, do you want to open another business? Oh, hell no. When I sold my company, people were like, why don't you just open another business? No, because I don't want employees. And I want, right. So I ran Lisa's business for 10 years, right? Which was, you know, I got 10% of the company. That was great. Got compensated very well. Still have percentage in the company after I left, you know, so it was a great ride. And then 10 million is kind of my sweet spot. After that, it gets too corporate-y. It's not fun for me anymore. I like the entrepreneurial stage where we're building and creating and building and creating, and, you know, keep making money. And how do we make more money? And how do we serve the client? What's client fulfillment? At 10 million and above, it's really system structure, right? Accountability and more employees. And
and that's when like that's when you're no longer building a business. You're just, in my opinion, keeping it alive.
Right.
You know, and it's
like not as
a,
fun. You don't have those quick wins. You have longer wins, right? It's a bigger ship. But I like the quick wins and the results that clients get and the fun about that. So that's the fun part for me. It's got to be fun or I don't want to do it.
Right.
It's got to be fun. I got to make a lot of money or I don't want to do it. Right. That's the end of the day. Like, this is what we're doing for a livelihood. A business is supposed to give us a lifestyle. A job cannot. And 80% of entrepreneurs are doing less than 100 grand a year. That's gross. Yeah. Right. So go get a job. You can make 100 grand anywhere. Right.
Well, it's like a lot of entrepreneurs are really looking at the new pay structures and going, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? You know, getting $100,000, $500,000, $100,000 in a year. And
half of that's going into infrastructure and maybe even more.
Right.
You
The other third of that's going into taxes.
right.
And then, you get, the family, the kids, the wife, the dog, and all that other stuff that requires a salary.
Right. And we're always the last to be paid, right? Or the first to get axed if something comes up. And
Exactly.
so you've got to be able to ride that wave. And if you don't like that, if that's too stressful, entrepreneurship's not your gig. There's always somebody willing to pay you for your skills and your talents.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very
So
much so.
you just have to look at that and go, oh, if I don't love that business side of it, how can I just do my genius? And there's nothing wrong with having a job if it, especially in creative industries, because we're either getting commissions or, you're writing your own paycheck, and how hard I work is how much I get paid. So
exactly. And, and it's important to realize that there are those out there that are not entrepreneurs.
Right.
They are better employees. And I find that also in tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
You have one that's the genius.
Mm-hmm.
That can do the amazing stuff. And the other one, normally the husband, can tell you by the penny how many pairs of heels she has. How long it takes her to speak at a conference, or that type of thing. And I find that if you're going to do the partnership, you need a salesman, you need a creator, and then someone else has to be the one to handle the books, the
implementer, the person doing all the things. Yeah.
Right.
So that's really when you look at what are you great at, to go, if I don't like doing that, you got to either hire someone or create that. And if you have a partnership, get everything in writing. Get everything in writing while you love each other, just like a marriage and a prenup. Get a prenup. What happens when you hate me because you may hate me? What happens with the money? How are we going to split assets? How are we going to split up intellectual property?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I didn't do any of that my first 2 businesses, right? Because I didn't know.
Right.
But I learned, right? It doesn't take me long.
Right.
When I got
non-disclosure agreement.
Sorry, say that again.
And a non-disclosure agreement.
Exactly. When I got married to my kid's dad, my grandma pulled him aside the day of the wedding and said, I don't know why you're marrying her. She don't listen. So I'm a tough nut.
Yeah.
But I got to learn. I like rolling up my sleeves, getting my hands dirty, figuring it out. I don't have to hit my head up against a wall anymore, right? I hire coaches. I find someone that's 10 steps ahead of me, right? When I launched this book, because we had a publisher, I hired a book coach to help me market it differently than the other books, right? And I was starting this brand new when I wrote this book, coming out of being 10 years in Lisa's business, that whole structure.
Right.
And so starting over to go, okay, how am I going to launch this book so it hits bestseller, right? Mm-hmm. That I really take care of the publisher takes care of me. Mm-hmm. And so finding those people that can help you take you to the next level, right? And that's my job, is let me help you. You can do it the hard way, or I can give you the roadmap and let's make some money.
You follow it, then follow it and then adapt to your needs, because this is something I hear a lot outside. Because there's no business books out there for me. This is bullshit. Every business book is out there for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if there's not, write one, right? Yeah. So if there's not, you write it, right? Compile some experts, right? There's so much opportunity there. That's what we do with podcasts, right? Is compile experts. Let me find these experts. I don't have to know everything. I don't know everything, but now I know you. So if I know someone that wants this, to go, oh my gosh, I have this great guy, right? That's what I love about doing these kinds of things, so that you're meeting amazing people along the way and putting them in your toolkit to go, eventually someone will need that and I can be a referral source.
Mm-hmm. And you've got 6 podcasts running yourself.
I got podcasts running. We've got YouTube videos running. We got contents galore, right? And supporting us, and just to serve our clients the way our clients want to be served, right? And again, podcasts, for people like, why would I do a podcast? It's exposure, right? I built my list primarily through podcasts, challenges, summits. That first year we launched the business, we went from no database to 9,000 people in our database. From no social media, I had 5,000 people in my social media. They were all friends, and to over 250,000 people in our social media. So all through getting seen, getting heard to get paid.
What do you think about these community building going on now?
We do it. We have a private Facebook group. So we curated people who really just want what we have. So we have our general Facebook group, and now we have these communities. Our tribe So we have people that keep coming back to our education. They might come 3, 4, or 5 times and then sign up for a program.
Mm-hmm.
So people come for the education and they stay for the community, because the community, hands down, you're not going to find a better group of entrepreneurs that will be your ride or die and support you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, we got something. Let me help you. Oh, you need support at doing this event. Let me help you. Oh, I'm doing this. And you'll say, okay, let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really win-win community. And we're really great at it. I've built communities over the years unconsciously. It wasn't strategy like it is now.
Right.
Now there's strategy, but it really brings people together, and it shortens your sales cycle. Right. You're not doing it to shorten a sales cycle, but at the end of the day, it shortens the sales cycle.
It does.
We'll really get to experience you. You're giving a lot, but we're giving a lot anyways. So let's leverage it in a way that can, net you a bigger result at the end.
Right. So, the other thing here and we're facing it a lot. Well, I've got 2 more things, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know you got to go. But the first thing was, what do you think of Kim Kardashian's statement about women in business?
I think she is, there's 2 sides, right? She really built a brand, right? When she first started, she didn't have a brand. And so you can't be mad at her because she's built a brand. But she also sits on her mountaintop that nobody's like me. And it's about collaboration at the end of the day, and not isolation.
Right.
And so there's that whole Me Too movement of being let's be ride or die. Right. Let's support each other. Quit tearing people down. Like there's still people in business that have that 80s mentality of stomping on people to get where you are.
Right.
And so I can respect the pieces of her that built this brand, because whatever you think about her, she did build a multi-million-dollar brand and a mega brand, and then helped her sisters do it. Right. She really schooled her sister. So I can respect that. She just stomps on people as she goes up the ladder.
Well, and I think she built the influencer idea.
Right. Girl and leverage that too, right?
Exactly, to the
asset till the cows come home, right? So
and I'm telling you, and I really got kind of upset with the media because they caught that part of you got to get up and fucking work.
Right.
They didn't catch the other part of, and you don't deal with toxic work environments, toxic people, toxic behaviors. I'm like,
of course, it's a soundbite, right? That's what
it was enough to get it onto Google News. It had enough keywords to it, so they were happy.
Right.
Go to the rest of the thing, and it's like, I could see that. I could understand that.
Well, we know, like growing businesses, in my young days, I just wanted people to work like me, right? Like, why do they not work like I do? Well, if everyone worked like you do, there would be no other business owners, right? So there is a difference between leader and employee, or leader and team member, right? Whether it's an independent contractor, employee, doesn't matter.
Right.
And so, my unrealistic expectations of wanting people to be mini me's really hurt me mentally, right? In my business, hurt our culture, because I was just pissy all the time, right? Like, why aren't you doing your job? And then, maturity has a way of going, people are people. Right. And let me figure out how to manage this person to get the best out of them. Right. And I think early on, managing people, you put up with shit you would not put up with when you're more seasoned. Like, I don't put up with anything that I used to put up with in the early days, because I just didn't know. I didn't know how to have uncomfortable conversations. I was too nervous. Like, oh my God, they're not going to like me. Who cares if they like you? They'll respect you or they're gone.
Exactly. Okay. And the other thing is, which 2 social media platforms do you have a sock account on?
Do I have a what for?
A private account, or what I call a sock account.
I don't have
not
private
connected to any of your brands, not connected to any of your media. Or which 2 do you, not your team, but you open up and look at?
Okay, the only one I open up and look like for entertainment is TikTok.
Really?
Because I love to laugh.
Okay.
I love the tarot readings and the psychic cards when they come up, and it's bite-sized information. So it's great. It's a great way for me. My team's like, we need you to do TikToks. No, that's my playtime. I don't want, don't make me do it. Like, we've done some, and I'm like, no, I just want to have my escape. So that's my escape, is really just looking at, scrolling. I like humor. Right. So I like to laugh. So I look for the thing that's going to make me laugh. Right. Or something that's going to move me right? To go have me think a little bit more. Like there's one psychologist that talks about narcissist and trauma healing, some juicy stuff that you're like, never heard it that way. And then I love all the comedians and the funny, because that's my sense of humor is, every morning I listen to comedy while I'm putting my makeup on, so I can get some laughs before I start dealing with clients to make me happy.
And which social media should be preparing for their funeral? In your viewpoint,
I think Facebook's out, right? Like
you think Facebook?
I think it's a dying. Like when I'm looking at our trends, like we have more trends in Instagram, more trends on LinkedIn, Twitter's starting to spike again. Facebook they're so, for entrepreneurs, like it's so relegated. Like I've been shut down so many times. I'm like, why don't you shut down people who are doing shenanigans? I'm just trying to help people. Right. And it's so silly. It's so policed, but not in a good way. Right. There's so many things on there that I'm like, really? This is up, but I'm talking about business and money. So.
Right. And, and for me, they've gotten so like, you can't say this or you can't have, we can no longer, like, we can't buy our ads anymore.
Right. They always put me in the MLM bucket, right? You must be a multi-level marketer. No, I'm not. No, again, there's nothing wrong with that. People are making a living at that, but we've been shut down so many times. Like, really?
Yeah. Well, I like to look at MLMs because I love taking their business approaches apart. Right. The way I handle my calendar and my appointment book, I tell everyone, go watch an old Mary Kay planning video.
Right. What are the 6 highest things you need to accomplish today?
Right. If you want to learn how to do lives, go look at the documentation on LuLaRoe, because they're the ones that broke that.
Right.
They're the ones that started doing that. If you want to look at community building, go look at LuLaRoe. They're the ones that broke that also. Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But that's just my viewpoint. All right, guys, go check out her site, get her new book, go back and get the other 9. And we look forward to having you back when you have the other 4 ready.
I would love to. Thank you for having me. Thank you for sharing me with your tribe and your community. Such a pleasure. I love your questions. Out of the box.
Yeah, I'm very out of the box.
I love out of the box.
Get you in here and talk, because your book, it has talking points, and guys, it's a lovely book. I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm going to probably sign up for the weekend class if you want to come join me.
Yeah, come join us.
And I'll be shooting that address over to the psychics that I know are listening. Yes, I'm staring at some of you. And we'll expect you there this Saturday. But come join the class. It's a free class. It's education. It's something you can put in your toolbox. And that's susiecarter.com to get all that. Now, is your books on Audible yet?
It is on Audible. So you can go to Amazon, download it there. And then if you go buy it on our site, we're going to give you a bunch of free bonuses. Cool. So you want to come and get the free stuff. You can go to Amazon too, right? Or any bookstore.
Any bookstore.
Any bookstore, you can get it as well.
Yep. All right,
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a blessed evening.
You have a blessed evening, honey. All right, guys, we're going to take a sip, and I'm going to bring Joe on.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hello. How are you doing?
Oh.
All right. We got some hellos to say hello. Hello, Shannon. Oh, hello, Natalie, darling. How lovely to see you. Come out from behind the chair.
We're not easy.
Brenda, darling. How are you? Excuse me while I go kill Google.
I'm sorry, you're killing Google?
Yes. The laptop has it set to send me a notification every time someone makes a comment because I'm normally mobile. Mika! My darling!
Mika! Oh, hey. But yeah, no. So I had the moment, like, do you ever, like, listen to an author and you're like, I think we've read similar books?
Uh-huh.
Like, she said 2 things right together, and my brain was like, I know we've had to have read the same book.
Right.
And it was, just getting into that concept of some people just aren't your client and move on.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I'm sitting there like, like, there's a fair number of people in this world that it's like, I can't work for you. I cannot work for you. And you need to be okay with that and recognize that and have someone to hand them off to.
Right.
Like, and that's kind of a big thing, especially I think when people are starting out. Whether you're, you know, like building your own business or you're in business, like you're working for someone,
right,
is having that moment when it's like, look, I can't do anything for you.
Right.
You know, just I can't.
Right.
Like,
You're not my fit. You're not my client. Here's the great, and this is the chain reaction to that when I face that. Here's the person I want you to go talk to. Just go talk to them, tell them your situation, tell them Aeson sent you. Like, no, honey, I cannot get grandma to answer the phone for me, no matter what I do. You need to go see Natalie. Here's her website and her information. Go see her. She'll be able to get grandma to talk her. I'm sure her spirit guide, the 6'2" dark-haired dude, will be able to beat the heck out of her to get her talking.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, well, and that's the psychic version of it. But like, even in IT, I've had those moments where it's like, I just don't know how to talk to you specifically to get you to listen. So I'm just, no, I'm done. Like,
and no, Natalie, we are not picking on you. We like you.
all right, I get the hint. No, it's not that. It's seriously, like, you've got to learn to recognize like who your client is and who your client isn't. Like, because I went through that, like, and I basically signed on with a whole company I should have never walked into. So, you know, I say that with experience, lots of experience. Because it really doesn't work out for anyone.
Right.
It really doesn't. They don't get what they want. You don't get what they want. Like, you just sit here and you fight each other.
Right.
And it's just this never ending thing. And it'll be the hardest money you've ever made. Like, you would have rather dug a ditch.
Right. Or
like,
two.
Yeah, like, seriously, like, and that's always my, like, fallback thought. Was, you know, I'm out of a construction family, okay? Was the whole idea of sending me to college.
So you didn't dig ditches.
Was so that I didn't dig ditches and I didn't wind up in a coal mine. This was the whole goal. Like, if I showed up with an OnlyFans, I think mom and dad would be okay with it. Just like, well, it's not a coal mine and it's not a ditch.
Yeah,
you know,
struggle with this. I don't think your dad would understand what I don't think your mom would understand what OnlyFans was. Your dad, I think, would be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can make some of my money back.
No, I still think, like, we've joked about this in my family, is like, we don't care if you're a whore. You better be damn good at it. Like, you better not be the does it behind the dumpster whore.
No.
Like, you know, for quarters, like, no.
Right.
Like, high-end escort, okay? Like, goals, standards, people. You know? Like, get it together.
Well, but no, and you know, I really recommend this book for anyone getting into business, even if you're not at that level yet. I think that this is a really good book. I think the summits in the educational program she puts out is really good. And it's not a lot of woo-woo. It's real business for a modern world. And it's a lot of stuff that I find myself repeating.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm like, have you been reading my notebooks? Grow, scale, and sell. You know, 10-point business plan assessment.
True. There is all that. Oh, but no.
We had a hot, fun mess this week.
Oh, which one?
Oh, let's start with the Batman machine eating its files.
Yeah, I've still got to dig into that. I don't even know what's causing that yet.
I don't either. Luckily, we kept the bat. I was not using my bat top, So if it is something that is contagious, it didn't get to the bat top. So Aeson
Which
done
should.
his major switch to Mac. That lasted 4 hours.
Which is about how long every single one of your switch to Macs has lasted.
Yep. So it has moved out of the office. I have a nice clean desk now. If baristas didn't notice, there's no longer a computer there. Two computers
I
on my
know,
desk.
like you posted that you had like your messy office, and I was like, bah! Like you're lying to these people. Like, oh my god.
My office is damn messy.
Yeah, but it's like normal people messy right now. Like it looks like semi-presentable.
Bullshit. The ashtray needs emptied. There's a couple dead soldiers.
Whatever.
Actually, there's a lot of dead soldiers. Like, where's the houseboy at?
I don't know. But no, I mean, like, but they didn't get to see it like I do. When I just go back there and it looks like a cry for help from someone who needs civil commitment. Okay. Like I go back there and it looks like you live here now. Yeah. Like there's a deodorant and a toothbrush and like 6 weeks worth of food and like, are you okay?
No.
Well, and that's always the answer.
Production week. I am not okay. So guys, I'm going to warn my baristas, your magazine may be a day or two out because I ain't turning out crap. We will see where I get to tomorrow because there comes a point when Aeson says he's had enough.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all guys will see that in the planner. There's days that it's just a giant X over the page.
Like, yep, nope, that was a lovely plan, but
yeah.
It all fell apart.
Right.
And I think that's like honestly, anymore, like it seems like the 21st century thing is that like pre-2000, we had day planners and we had literal, like that was your day.
Yeah.
Like, did someone die? Did you have to go to the emergency room? Did your car break down? No. Then that was your day.
Right.
And then somewhere after 2000, this all got insane. And it's like, I had a plan.
It was really easy because everything was on paper.
Well, and like people didn't just like call you and like even expect like your day was just going to suddenly change because they called.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like somewhere, like, I don't know. I just keep having this thought that like somewhere in the world, we like in the pre-2000 world, we had this idea that like shipping took 6 to 8 weeks for anything you ordered, and we were okay.
Right.
And then Amazon came along and screwed that up, and now it's like if it's not shipped tomorrow and arrives in 3 days, oh my God, it's a scam and they've taken my money. Whereas we used to wait like 6 to 8 weeks. Like, did anyone else used to order stuff and then it like showed up and you just like had this Christmas morning with the box because you didn't know what the fuck it was? And then you open the box and you're like, oh, I forgot I ordered that.
No, because it was in my planner.
Well, hey. But I've done it. I mean,
you do that now.
Well, I do that now, yeah. Well, sometimes because it depends upon like crap happens. But no, it's
your Amazon happens is what happens. Fuck crap happens. Your Amazon happens, and it's like click, 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 and it's like, okay, he's ordered something. That's cute, and it shows up, and he's like, did I order something? And I'm like, yeah. See, it's on line 23 of the 3rd page.
Well, but hey, my orders are never that bad.
Except I was talking about the credit card statement.
Oh yeah, like no, it's not even that bad. I'm not that bad. But no, seriously though, there are moments where I think my surprise anymore is like it's here. More than like I still can't get used to 3-day shipping. I can't. Right. It's this weird thing. Like I grew up programmed that shipping takes 6 to 8 weeks. Right. Like, that's just,
Right.
and it still weirds me out sometimes when stuff shows up in a couple of days.
Right.
Oh yeah, I love Amazon. I can't not love Amazon.
Right.
As sucky as some of the things they do as a company are,
Mm-hmm.
like that 3-day turnaround takes a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not always like the best things happening to people to get you to 3-day shipping.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm gonna say on that one.
Right.
So yeah, but
Right.
anywho,
And it's that, oh, how do I want to say this? It's that connecting into stuff. I love life. Hi, Ashley.
yeah,
I don't know.
actually,
In the
we love
world that
life.
we live in today, it's really weird. And it's at this point, I don't know. My world is at that point of, do I want an assistant? Do I need an assistant? Maybe I just need a better planner.
Well, I think you've gone through all the planners you can.
Well, we're up to designing Aeson's planner. Okay. The baristas get to watch me design and work out the little kinks in my planning system, and then we're going to design and order it. You hit a nail on something the other day.
Okay. Well, because I was going to say, because like the thing that didn't make it to the behind the scenes, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but there was a point recently you had like 3 planner nervous breakdowns in the same week.
Uh-huh.
And I was kind of like, okay, this is not how this is supposed to work. Like, planning is supposed to make you less stressed. And like 3 times in 1 week, you just like growled, grabbed your car keys, and went, I'm going to the store, and walked out, and then like came back, and you're like, okay, I think I got it this time. And then again, you growled, grabbed your car keys, and said, I'm going out. I'll be to the store. I'll be back. And just like, there was a point I was just like, okay, I'm afraid if he does this one more time. Oh, sometimes, yes, you're not wrong.
You got to read the question.
Well, the statement, which is, I imagine Joe was like, okay, I'm going to go hide now when he sees the planner come out.
No,
You're
that's
not
when
wrong.
he sees the planner go out the door.
Yeah, no, that's when I want to hide. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely like when he is back there, like seriously, when it's the 3rd time in a week he has gone to like reset his planner because everything he just like got set up is not working for him, and then he went and got more stuff, and then he reset and he thought this was going to work and it didn't work for him. And then he had to go get like there's a point there that you're just like, I don't know how much longer until he's like, I'm just going to drink until it's all done. Just like light a match. It's all over. I'm done. Like,
Well, and that happens, and that does happen when my planner melts down. And normally when the planner melts down is when things change.
Well,
and
yeah,
we go
and
through seasons in the business, and it's like, motherfucker, I just said, and right now, like, I'm not even doing my task list daily. I've got this big task list that I'm just working off of.
dun, 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 dun.
Here is the problem with that.
So the comment is, because his plans change so much, I feel like digital would be better once you figure out what you need and can make some interactive PDFs.
And the problem with that is the digital will die. The digital will ding. The digital will bing. I am trained to ignore bings, dings, and dings. We have a problem to the point that I had to change the sounds on my Mister to get me up in the morning.
Yeah, on his certain search engine powered devices.
Yes. Because this one that I already own, and furthermore, I don't have a tablet big enough. It dings enough that I don't care.
Okay, well, see, and I think there's a better explanation here.
Mm-hmm.
You got to realize he has been a nurse. He has heard call lights and heart monitors and pages through a building. He has worked on so many networks, and let me tell you, there is a certain point, because all of them have so loud notification sounds. And he even turns the volume up on them. Because it's literally gotten to a point, and you do get to this point living with him too. Is you just don't hear this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's comes a point your brain just filters out dun 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 incoming keen chat request, incoming keen chat request, dun 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 dun. Like, oh, see, but you got to be careful though. Maybe a flatline tone. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. And Love Life, we'll get to you in just a second. Sorry, we wanted to wrap this up real quick before we did, but no, yeah, there's certain sounds though that would pull him out of a coma. And not in a good way. Like, there's certain, like, I know there are certain sounds that I can hear that will pull me out of deep sleep. And it's like, no.
Right.
Like, I had an alarm clock I had to trash for that, because I could not wake up every single morning in, like, total panic for my life. Great alarm clock. You weren't sleeping through it. Problem, sounds like a fire alarm, commercial grade fire alarm.
Well, I am looking for something, and I'm going to turn our listeners onto the search for it.
Oh.
I need an alarm clock that sounds like a 1990s pager. It is that certain tone. It will wake me out of a dead 2-hour sleep. I want that alarm clock.
But now, what is the one that like, because there was something recently I was either watching or listening to or whatever, and you were like, you can't do that around me. You're traumatizing me. I forget what it was, but like, we even joked about it. It was, well, we found your new alarm clock, and you're like, yeah, no.
You were playing a game.
Oh, yes, I was. Oh, I can't remember the stupid game now. Like, here's weirdo me. Like, I'm not really a big phone gamer, but sometimes I get stressed and I'll like download a game, play it for a day, and then I just delete it.
It was Mafia.
Oh, was
or
it?
something like that, because it sounded like gunshots. And I'm sitting in my office and I'm hearing like gunshots go off.
So yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know what I was playing. I don't know that it was gunshots per se. Maybe it was. I don't know. Because this is my problem, is I'll play a game for like a day, an afternoon, and then it's gone.
Right.
Like, that's it. Like, I don't pay money for games. I refuse.
Right. But no, it was some type of, you played one and I was like, no, you can't do that. And it sounded like a gunshot. And there was another one that sounded like glass breaking. And you don't want me waking up to the sound of glass breaking.
Yeah, no.
No, that almost got one shot.
Yeah, really. All right, so let's go ahead and we will grab Love Life and then Ashley. So all right. So Love Life 8/12/98. How do my office mates view me?
Okay. Whew. Well, there's a few different viewpoints of you, because I'm looking at least two of them. One sees you as a good advisor, decent. You tend to have a lot of knowledge and a lot of sharp truth. The other one, however, sees you as a gold digger with a lot of goals, and they're afraid for the position.
All right.
All right.
So there we go. And then Ashley, 11994. When will I get my kids back home?
Okay. You're looking at probably fall of next year. This is a complicated mess. When I say complicated, you feel like you're trapped no matter what you do. It's never right. You can't get them right. You can't do it right. It's never good enough. And you're going to have to overcome that first before we get the kids back home. Okay? So you got to take care of that self-worth thing going on there. All right. So do you have an Are You an Asshole this week?
I do.
Awesome.
We
And I
not
don't
doing
need
any
it.
other articles?
No, honey, I had an author to prepare for.
Okay. I kept wondering. I was like, you gotta send some articles. All right. So, am I the asshole? This one just popped up, and I actually just this is only like 2 days old. I even screenshotted because I was afraid this is going to get taken down.
Okay, is it just that good?
Oh, it's well, we'll see. Am I the asshole for telling my brother that it's his fault that our mom is sick? I, 16 male, have an older brother, 20 male. 2 years ago, before going to college, he came out to our parents as gay, which made our dad disown him and cut all contact with him. He tried to force our mom to cut contact with him as well, but she refused, which led to a huge argument between them. After a couple of months of almost daily fights, our parents eventually decided to divorce. Soon after, mom started feeling sick and she was eventually diagnosed with breast cancer stage 3. Dad was only paying for my alimony and refused to pay for my mom's treatment as well, and my brother obviously couldn't pay either because of his college fees. My mom's disease progressed, and now the doctors estimate that she only has 1, maybe 1.5 years left to live. My mom accepted her fate, but I honestly started to resent my brother for this, as I don't see what was the point of him coming out right before going to college in another city. It's not like our dad would have been able to keep track of who he's dating once he moved there, and his coming out only caused problems in the long run. My brother told me on the phone that he feels so bad about our mom's situation, and he blames himself for not being able to help her, which caused me to tell him that he should blame himself for coming out to her homophobic dad, which destroyed our parents' marriage and probably even got our mom sick with cancer due to all the stress caused by the divorce. My brother told me that he was still hoping that our dad would come around and that he wouldn't have done it if he knew it was going to cause our parents' divorce. But I told him that the harm's already done and it's his fault that our mom's sick now. He started crying and told me that let's go with a bad word, for thinking that his sexual orientation is what caused our mom's cancer, and then hung up on me.
Good.
But honestly, if he hadn't come out, our parents wouldn't have divorced, and even if mom would have still gotten cancer in this case, at least dad would have been there to pay for her treatment, and thus he might have still been able to save her. So I really think my brother should have postponed his coming out for a couple more years at the very least. Am I the asshole?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Like that's almost a resounding universal. Like, you're not just an asshole, you are the THE all caps asshole. Behind this though, I'm going, one, this is a 16-year-old. And I get that he's hurting a lot and he has a lot of like things that exploded in his life, and he's looking at like the chain reaction.
Right.
That like if his brother hadn't have come out, his parents wouldn't have fought, his parents wouldn't have divorced, and even, you know, like, and more than likely, probably his mom already was in early stages of cancer by then, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
And, but not for all of this, she would have insurance, or her, you know, husband would pay for her treatment. You know, I understand his struggle in wanting to blame someone and wanting, you know, someone to yell at and to be angry with.
Sorry, he is an asshole.
But that's not your brother.
Right.
Like, dude, your brother did nothing wrong.
Right.
Like, this is one of those situations that it falls into the category of an unfortunate string of events.
Right.
Like,
Well,
they're all tragic. Like, your parents divorcing is tragic. Your mom finding out she has cancer is tragic. Your father being an asshole is tragic. Having a sibling come out, that can be a very, you know, chaotic experience. But this isn't stuff you blame people for.
Right.
And moreover, like, that's a really problematic line of thinking.
Right. And it's blaming. But I'm going to put this to fact, and I'm going to kind of take this along the way.
Mm-hmm.
He is the asshole. He is the asshole because he's blaming his brother for something that wasn't connected. He's blaming him for the divorce. The divorce in itself was not what caused the brother coming out. Did not cause the divorce. The cracks in the marriage was already there. He may have gave his mother a little bit of courage to tell the dad to go fuck off.
Well, or more than likely, like, no one gets, I don't think that many people actually get divorced because, like, one of their children come out. Mm-hmm. Now, there are parents, I think it creates a major strain.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they start fighting.
Right.
But typically, like, if that were their only issue, mm-hmm. I think that, yeah, it's going to be a little loud and angry, and, you know, it's going to be a bit vicious, but I don't think you go all the way to divorce on that one.
Right.
Unless you already have other issues.
Right.
Like, that's just the last straw.
Right.
Like, that was, you know, kind of like, we're staying together, wait till the last kid's 18, then we'll consider, like, divorce or separate housing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're not, you know, throwing off on that. There are a fair number of couples that have done that.
Right.
Like, they stay together for their kids get through, you know, at least to college, at least through high school, or perhaps out of college. And then they're like, look, I'm done. Like, you know, we're done with each other. We can't do this anymore. We stayed together for you guys. We kept our cool. We tried to act like decent adults, be decent parents. Mm-hmm. We're done.
Right.
That said, even if this was the whole single issue that caused the divorce, still not your brother's fault.
Right.
Like, that was between your parents.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's almost like saying, you know, someone telling your mother that your father was cheating,
mm-hmm.
that you're going to blame that person for causing the divorce. And it's like, well, no. Like, the fact that your father was cheating and your mother didn't think that was acceptable to your marriage,
right,
or to their marriage, that's what caused the divorce.
Right.
This is kind of the same thing. Your brother coming out isn't the cause.
Right.
It's your father couldn't accept that and like move on, and your mother found that incompatible to being in a relationship with someone.
Right.
Is like, you either love and accept our kids no matter what, or I'm out. And that's
Right.
assuming it was the 100% cause.
Right.
Now, in that, one also has to notice the fucked up logic
Mm-hmm.
in which you've excused the fact that because your brother came out and your parents argued, that you don't blame your father directly
Mm-hmm.
for withholding finances or medical coverage that could keep her alive.
Right.
Like, as in, you think it is a reasonable situation here
Right.
that because your parents argued over this,
Right.
that he should not give a damn about you
Right.
or your mother
Right.
in terms of like keeping her alive
Right.
because of this issue. That's the logic you got to follow there.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I don't think that's it.
Right.
Again, it really points strongly towards your parents already had issues.
Mm-hmm.
This was just the last issue.
Right.
So, no. Dude.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, so yeah, there's not many people. I don't think I saw any that really went, oh yeah. No, you got it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. What I'm seeing, and he's trying to defend his position.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he is, because
Right.
it's one of those things when you say it, like, I understand why he's upset.
Right.
Like, I 100% understand why he's upset and how he got here.
Right.
Because he's hurting and he needs someone to be angry at that can take it.
Right.
And older brothers are great for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can't be mad at his mom like she's died.
Right.
You know, somehow I think he doesn't want to be mad at his dad.
Right.
And like his brother, like older brothers typically do that. Like, they end up taking blame for shit that they never did in the first place. And I think it was just like the best place he could dump it.
Right.
To try to like offload. Yeah.
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 But so yeah, that's my Am I the Asshole? How's your relationship advice?
Oh, I'm looking for something over there. Because there's a lot of them that come in and it's like, we can't talk about them.
Okay. Really? We found things we can't talk about on this show?
Yeah, it's because most of the answers is Astroglide.
Ouch. Ouch. Well, that doesn't rule out the answer is always more C batteries.
Well, again. All right, here's one I think is kind of cute.
Oh, okay.
Relationship advice. I need help processing what happened this weekend. My cooking isn't good enough, and the title of it is My Cooking Isn't Good Enough, but My Money Is. I need help processing what happened the weekend. Sunday morning, my husband suggested we go out for breakfast before he leaves for work for the week. We don't have the money to eat out, but I didn't want to fight, so I agreed. We did Easter baskets with the toddler and then proceeded to get dressed and go out. While I was dressing myself and our son, he decided to join a video game. This is an online game and couldn't simply be paused. I let him know that we were ready to go, and he sort of acted as if he didn't know we had plans. He said he would be he would be right out, and I sat in front on the front porch while our son played in the yard for a minute. An hour passed. I decided that the kids need to eat and went to the kitchen and began making eggs in toast and pork chops. He came in while I was cooking and got upset. I told him that I already waited an hour and was in the middle of cooking now, and didn't even know if IHOP was open on Easter Sunday. He told me to give the food I had already cooked to his dad and uncle, and we were going out. They live in our driveway. I obeyed, and we went to IHOP. It took another hour before we were seated and had food on the table. I only ordered a coffee because I planned on eating some of my son's food. He ordered a sandwich and a triple stacked cheesecake pancakes. He ate done fries, proceeded to eat about 3 bits of his sandwich before it had too much because it had too much cheese. He ate maybe 5 bites of the pancakes. He's lactose intolerant, icing on the cake, which the check came, I gave it to him. We had a pseudo rule that whoever invited the other out to dinner pays. He got upset and told me he didn't have any money. I gave him my card and went to the car upset. He gets furious at my reaction and says he'll never take me out to eat again. Please help me understand what happened.
Well, let's see. You went on a date with a narcissist and then everything went wrong from there.
It's more so you went on a date you went to a family dinner with an idiot.
Well, no, I'm saying way back, like before she was Mrs. Asshole.
Yep.
And I don't mean she's an asshole. I mean she married one.
Right.
Way back when.
Right.
Y'all went on a date and wow.
Yeah.
That was yeah. So yeah, no, and exactly, he didn't take you out to eat. You took yourself out to eat.
You didn't want to go to.
Yeah, like literally, and like you had to wait on him in the midst of all this, and you had to argue with him, and you had to watch him do stupid things with food.
Your children had to watch this.
Yeah.
Honey, wake the fuck up. Slap that man over the head with an iron skillet and send him out the front door.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, none of this is normal.
Right.
Like, not that, like, yeah. No, none of this was normal. I mean, people argue for stupid reasons. People want things that they can't necessarily afford at a particular moment in their relationship. You know, I get all that. And sometimes you do just go, we'll put it on the credit card and fucking deal with it later.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's okay. Right. Usually, however, it does have to be like a mutual thing. Right. And it shouldn't be like a punishment the whole way through.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, we've had moments where it's like, oh, fuck, we really shouldn't go out to eat. Like, you know, and it's like, all right, you know, we're just going to do it.
Yeah. Fuck it. I need to.
And like, we'll figure it out later.
There are times that we will go out to eat and you're like, we shouldn't be doing this. It really isn't in a budget. And I'm like, dear, I can make you another $100 or I can cook you dinner. Your choice.
Yeah. Well, there's that. And then there's also sometimes that it's quite frankly, you know, like, yeah, we shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
We can.
Yeah.
We shouldn't. And it's like, but where are we in the, like, do I just need this right now? Like, you know, what's my future value on this?
Right.
Is $20 or $30 or whatever we're about to go spend on eating out, is that like the difference between, like, alternative is I'm going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and crash into bed and I'm not going to do fuck all.
Right.
Because, like, my life sucks and I'm in a bad mood and I don't want to deal with people and yada, 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 yada. Yeah. And it's just like the rain cloud. Or is this going to be like, we're going to spend this money, I'm going to get renewed and energized, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to make like 5 times that.
Right.
In essence, make the $100.
Right.
Like, then sometimes it's kind of like, okay, what do we, yeah. Well, yeah, and by that point, she'd already cooked. And I mean, I'm not discounting that at all.
Right. He cooked food that he could eat. Let's point this out.
Yeah.
Cooked food that he could eat. Everyone knows I'm diabetic. Everyone knows that my diet's weird. We have had fun with that.
Uh-huh.
But I have never sat down and ordered pancakes at a restaurant with syrup or cheesecake pancakes. No, that's a no food for me. I don't have that.
Well, and it's not that it's a no food for you. Like it's not a good idea.
Uh-huh.
But for him, if you're lactose intolerant and you didn't plan for that,
mm-hmm.
and you have no post plan for that,
mm-hmm.
Then yeah, that's a big no. Big
right.
old no. Like, no, you can't. No.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but at the point in which she has already waited an hour and started cooking, yeah,
mm-hmm.
no, dude, your go out opportunity sailed.
Right.
Like, you chose the game over getting ready to go out.
Right.
Like, why? Yeah. Yeah. And ordered food that they couldn't eat. It was a total waste. And it was a total, like, why?
Right.
Why?
And apparently decides to move the father and uncle into campers in their driveway.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a whole other story that's just going to, like...
Well, see, the reason I like this is I found a way I can go and look at the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure someone had to pick up on that one. Oh, that is beyond an Easter fail.
Right. Right. And I even totally forgot to talk about our Easter because our Easter actually was really good.
It was.
And we went simple. Actually, I went simple all week, guys. I'm going to talk about this and then we're going to wrap up. I got 2 roaster chickens and I cooked the ham that I got on sale. I made some potato salad and some macaroni salad and some scalloped potatoes, and I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Brenda brings up an awesome point. On top of it all, it's teaching the kids that this is okay behavior and how to treat people or be treated. Yes. Right. Big problem. Yeah. But no, we did have a really good Easter. And for those of you pointing out, that's a lot of potatoes. It was.
That
potato salad and scalloped potatoes.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. He had already decided and started making scalloped potato or potato salad. And then the mama night was like, I don't want that. So we're like, okay. It's like, do you want another potato? And she was like, yes, scalloped.
Right.
And we're like, we just happen to have those.
Yeah. But no, come for leftovers, Ashley, because I've got enough to feed us this week and probably 3 to 4 meals. But this is much less than my normal holiday cooking.
Basically. Now, do you keep in mind, in terms of the ham alone, he budgeted, well, granted, the ham was on sale, and that's why I bought it, but he effectively budgeted 3.33333 pounds of ham per person.
No, I didn't.
You did too. It was a 10-pound ham, and there were 3 of us.
And I paid $9.70 for that sucking ham.
I know.
And I knew that we'd get 10 meals out of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're going to get so many meals. Yeah. Woo-hoo! Yeah, it was a lot of ham. It was a lot of ham. It was big, pretty ham. Did you ever post the pictures?
The Barista Chat got the pictures, and they're going to get the pictures again in the magazine because I'm actually writing that recipe.
Oh, yeah, it was a phenomenal price. Like, I'm not mad.
No.
But it that's the joke I keep making is he cannot cook a holiday meal without budgeting like 5 pounds of meat per person. Like I don't know who he's
multiply the
feeding.
people by how many meals I want cooked out of that meal.
Well, there you go. There's that.
You know, but I only made one cake, and it was a really simple cake. It wasn't from scratch. I made no green vegetables.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed.
I made no other vegetables, no roasted vegetables, none of that.
I know.
You had 3 options of food, not 15. There was no stuffing made. I made no rolls this year.
True.
No
I know.
pies. We made a cake. I didn't color Easter eggs and put them on the table. I did make deviled eggs. You got
He
one
did.
platter of deviled eggs, not 24 like I normally do. Your nephew would have been disappointed.
Well, basically, our meal consisted of ham and sides in shades of yellow.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, most everything you made had mustard in it.
True. And I even went cheap on the mustard. I didn't use the Grey Poupon like I normally use for things.
Oh, well. But yeah, granted, the ham was actually really cool because it was crushed pineapple and the pineapple IPA.
Yeah, and brown sugar.
Yeah. And brown sugar. Yeah. First year Brenda didn't make pickled eggs.
Right.
Ashley only did pork and rice and then peas, broccoli, and biscuits. Good job. Good job.
Good job. Good job. Now, guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna warn you. Thanksgiving, I'm not doing a turkey this year.
No.
I made the decision of making roll-ups this year. Although
Mhm.
I'm gonna see if I can find sliced duck. If I can find sliced duck, I'm gonna do turducken roll-ups.
I still can't believe you're trying to do that. I find it hilarious, but still. Oh, rice and peas in one dish. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, roll-ups. So basically this is deli slice. Like super thick deli slice.
Yeah.
You do stuffing and then you roll deli meat around it and then cook it in gravy.
Yep.
They're very good. Yeah, he wants
I'm,
to do turducken roll-ups.
I'm looking at doing turducken roll-ups. I've got to find sliced duck.
Yeah, but then he wants to go one step further and then wrap all that in bacon.
Well, yes. See?
And I'm just sitting here going, yeah, let's just send that to our doctor and see how quickly he can be like, no. Your heart says choose life. Like, I'm pretty sure that is not on the American Heart Association diet anywhere.
Actually, it probably is.
I'm just saying. Like, he does not currently have heart issues. Like, I want to clarify that. It's just familially, like, in his medical history, heart issues are a thing there. And so, like, we're trying to get him to, like, 50 without a heart attack. Like, that's the hope. That's the dream. That's the goal. Oh, the squirrels are fighting now. What? No, that's not unrelated. That's everything. Yeah, bacon makes everything better, including heart attacks. You want to take that to another notch? Include bacon.
Depending on the price of bacon. If it keeps going up, it's going off your menu.
I can be okay with that.
Like,
and I think it messes you up more that, like, I am almost unflappable when it comes to, like,
me.
Other
you have
meats.
A poll to take.
Oh, I have a poll to take?
I
mean, is it long and thick? I'm sorry. What's the poll? Going to the gym does not cancel out the bacon. But a bacon Brussels sprout is awesome.
Yes. Over dishes.
Oh, I have a dishes poll to take?
Yes. This was the great after Easter debate.
Okay. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I've now added new understanding to my so like yeah. On a scale of 1 to, I believe Margaret Cho said it was Gore Vidal. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember. Actually, let's go ahead and find out before I take the poll, because I want to get this right. I want to get this right because this quote's worth getting right.
Well, tell the story while you're doing your research.
Okay,
So they
I
know
gotta
what we're
type, but I
polling.
can't do. So yes, I'm trying to remember. No one ever has the quote. All right, fine. We'll pretend it's Gore Vidal. All right, so from like 1 to Margaret Cho's fanning the flames of his faggotry, where does this sentence rank? We are talking about dishes. I've been thoroughly confused this whole damn time why we have dishes in a china cabinet that we have not touched the whole time we have been together. Not once. We have another set of dishes in the cabinet beside the sink, plus a whole other set of dishes. And I have long just allowed this without question. Just, it is what it is. And then he starts talking about how we need to buy yet more dishes. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why? Like, I chose in this moment to ask, why do we need more dishes? And he points out that, well, we need a set for breakfast. And then, we really need for dinner dishes to have dinner dishes that make an impact. And I just looked at it, and that's my question. That's my question. We have a set of Corelware. We have some cheap ceramics from Walmart that I never intended to keep. Walmart or Big Lots one. I literally never intended to keep. There was a whole reason I bought them, and the reason now has a cemetery plot. Okay. And like real quickly, this was because I read an article that said that eating on red dishes stimulated appetite, and I was having problems getting my grandmother to eat. And I went, fuck it, I'll spend the money. So I picked up a few plates and a few saucers and a few bowls, like not a full complete like 8-person set, but like enough to get us through like a day. And I literally intended like these to never last. Did not want to keep them. Did not have any interest whatsoever. He was in love with them. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I don't care. So we moved up. We have a set of Corel dishes. We have a set of this cheap crap I picked up at Walmart or Big Lots. And then he has like bone white. Is it full china or no?
I have a bone white full china set for a party of 16.
Right.
Including serving dishes.
Yeah. Well, and see, here's the problem with display is it's just flat white. Like, it just, like, I hate to say it, but you could probably put cardboard cutouts in the china cabinet and no one would know. But that's just me. I'm just saying. Like, we could spray paint some cardboard and no one would know. Because
mother walk into the house.
You mean in like the yeah, but the one thing she would notice is for once it doesn't feel like the house is listing to one side, because of the weight of the china cabinet.
I still think she was disappointed that we didn't have them out for Easter, even though it was a casual Easter.
I'm just sitting here going, I will eat. Like, I'm sorry, my family, my grandmother had this gorgeous set of china that she was scared to death to use and hated cleaning.
Right.
1-2 combo. Could not run it through the dishwasher. God help you.
Right.
It had a, like, the painted or whatever gold ring around it. Totally do not dishwasher ever.
Right.
She like, it just sat there and collected dust for like decades. She pulled it out every once in a while. Yeah, the trim, like, it wasn't quite a trim. Well, it was. It's not like the outer edge, but it was just like this
The
little
Chargers
line.
line.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't a charger.
It's called
Like,
a Chargers line.
Okay. I don't know. Anyway, so where on that 1 to 10 scale, 1 to fanning the flames, was his statement that we needed dinnerware that had impact? Because my first reaction was, and for fuck's sake, you were married and this is the shit that comes out of your mouth. How did your wife not know? My God.
Well, 2 polls actually. One is that the gayest thing that Joe has ever told you I've said? And 2, how many sets of dishes do you own? Plastic is not included because it is not a dish.
Bullshit. I'm sorry, my fanning the flames, thank you. Because like my family, we eat off of China. It's called Chinette.
Mm-hmm.
We buy it in a jumbo bag at Sam's Club. That's how we do holidays, because my grandmother hated her China. So we use China. Like, that's where I'm at. My first set of dishes was plastic. Like, I talk about that box at Walmart. I know about this box at Walmart because I owned it. They still make it. Okay, Brenda says not the gayest thing. All right, Ashley has 2 sets of dishware that doesn't count. So she has exactly one ceramic, because you refuse to count plastic as dishware.
And the pattern is called White Fruit by Gibson.
Ooh. Well, technically our Corelware is like actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's blue snowflake for those of you that are into classic Corelware. Like,
right.
It's the blue and white set.
Mm-hmm.
And this my grandmother had in a cabinet. The only thing I can come up with, and I could be really, really long. Hey, Amy. Is that it was probably her sister's.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the only reason I can think of. Like, she had it in that cabinet and never, ever used it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, we're going to start using it.
Oh, we've used the hell out of it.
No, I'm talking about the Gibson China. Because I've confirmed that it is laved. So it can be, although it was discontinued.
Oh.
So we have a problem.
Yeah, it's called, we have to look on eBay or Replacements Limited for
I'm looking at Replacements Limited. To get the price.
Yeah, what is it, $75 a plate?
The salad plates themselves aren't that bad. The dinner plates are $25.99. The salad plates are $11.99. The gravy boat that everyone complains about, well, no, the soup bowl that everyone complains about is $400.
Oh, the what? Repeat that?
The soup dish that's on top of the china cabinet that everyone complains about,
yeah,
is $400.
Well, I won't throw that at you first.
The lid is more expensive than that.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
It's technically the most expensive thing in our china set.
And it's balanced precipitously on top of the cabinet.
Yes, with the board support underneath it.
I know. Precariously, excuse me.
Yeah.
Precariously balanced on top of the china cabinet.
The
Oh,
server platter that you had your lovely ham on is valued at 4 times the price I paid for ham.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, now that one we only recently added, didn't we?
I've recently started to add and using it, but I'm going to go back to using that for holidays since we now have a kitchen set of food.
Okay. Man. So well, granted, we looked up the price on replacing the snowflake Corelware. Oh, Ashley's posting evidence of her. Is this her non-existent or her existent?
This is her assistant.
Oh,
It's a
no,
beautiful festive wear set.
Ooh. Yeah, well, see, and that's the weird thing in West Virginia. We can pick that up all day long.
Yeah.
Like, we can tell you what exit to go to, and you can pick it up for next to nothing.
43.
No, it's not 43. It's
Yes,
Flatwoods.
Yeah, I think it's 43.
No, it isn't. Flatwoods is not 43. We're 57 off of 79. Flatwoods is like 68, 69.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the factories in West Virginia, like you can get this stuff shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't give it away.
Oh, it's a suggestion for Aeson. No, he's going to stick to having the Corelware for now.
Well, yeah, and that's based off of like lessons from one of my sisters. I will not name names. But they call it unbreakable, and that's true. The first time you throw it at your husband, the second time it's a crapshoot.
Well, can we get a family history on that so I can see if I've got a throw or not?
This is a no-throw set. Or actually, no. If this came from my grandmother's sister, it's probably a no-throw set.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nasty divorce. Ooh. No. I figure that set got bounced off of poor Uncle Fred. Well, poor Uncle Fred deserved it, but that's a whole other story.
Right.
But yeah.
But no,
let's just say y'all agree.
I was the only one that grew up with the mindset that no, you have 4 sets of dishes. You have your breakfastware, which is a small set, normally just cups, saucers, and salad plates. You have a lunch set that is a lighter set of china that it is just literally salad plates and a dinner plate and saucers. And then you have a dinner set that should be in a more impressive, heavier weighted dish set.
See, and I grew up with and this was Mom.
Uh-huh.
She had the nice Corelware in the china cabinet, and I'm not kidding. The nice Corelware in the china cabinet, and then we had the crap on a shelf that was like chipped, cracked, glued back together because Mom, quite frankly, had 5 kids and didn't give a shit. She assumed everything she owned was going to be broken at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
She had zero attachment to anything but the dishes in the china cabinet. Break one of those and you die.
Mm-hmm.
See, Ashley's in the same boat. Like, Mom, I think, was probably one step away from, our grandmother is the one that caused us to go to Chinette for holidays. I think Mom was about one step away from.
Oh, goodness. There are more pieces to this.
Oh, good Lord, Brenda. We had 3 main sets, everyday, company, and good china. Then you also had snack sets for just coffee and treats, sometimes cheap ones while the kids were little. Yeah, see, no.
Yeah.
No. Mom, Mom had given up. Well, and then there's my grandmother and the fact that my dad destroyed all of their dishes. Like, picture this if you can. This is my grandmother in 1930, let's say 1940, roughly. She is living with my dad and my grandfather in coal company housing. Everything they own, it is basically on some god-awful payment arrangement with a company store. They are flat broke. And my father goes running through the house, and this horrible, like, we talk about cheap furniture today being particle board, just kind of half glued, half screwed together, and like you can knock it over and break it. The predecessor to that was stuff made out of wood that was thin as veneer, like like wood paneling just nailed together, and the company store charged an outrageous cost for this because of course that's where it came from. Knocks this dishware cabinet over, breaks every last thing in it. The shelf survives, but broke every dish in it. My grandmother had no attachment to dishware after that. Like, she couldn't. She was horrified. I can understand it. Like, I try to picture it, and like she says, it was like every time she talked about that story, you could just see that, like, that anguish in that moment of, I just want to try to be a decent parent. And I don't even want anything really, really nice. I just want to have basics. Okay? Like, let me get through this. Like, this is a horrible period in history. We have no money. We're just starting out. I have a kid who is a holy terror. And dad was a holy terror from birth. And literally just like every dish, every last dish. And they literally ended up getting scrap dishes. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone else is like chipped or whatever, like from her mom and her dad, you know, the other side of the family, the Arrington side of the family. Like, everyone just started giving them random plates and stuff to get through.
Yeah.
Like,
But see, that's when I become the indignant one.
You would have gone straight to that company store and charged it.
Well, no.
Or beat the hell out of him.
Oh, that would have occurred. Like, how your father was able to walk after that incident.
I think that was part of the story, is that my grandmother lit into him. And I think technically that was the last time that she ever, I think, laid a hand on him, because she knew she did it in anger and she could have killed him.
Well, exactly. And then after we were able to, and I have these things, there are these things that I will no longer debate. That would have been one of them.
Okay.
We will have a perfect set of china.
And we can, with a trip to Sam's. It comes in an economy bag.
No, we will not. We will take a lovely trip to the antique store that I only go to for a number of reasons.
Oh, hell. Oh, hell no. Like, I'm just saying, these are not things I need in my life. I really don't. Like, I've had better and worse, and you know what I mean, like, than the plastic set. Like, I've had paper. I have had nicer silverware. I've had worse silverware. Like, I had one set that had its own plastic rack, and it was for a camper. It had 2 sizes of spoons, 1 size of fork, 1 size of knife, had little plastic on the handles. It was like stamped stainless steel. I love that set.
Right.
You had this nice little caddy that sat on the counter. It was wonderful. I'm like, why don't they make more of these? But apparently people think it's trashy when your spoon has a hole in it to hang it on a peg.
Well, again, it's kind of like white bone pit china. That came out of one of Dad's temper tantrums. Mother went, all right, you break all my dishes. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going over to Harry Myers and I'm getting us some dishes.
Oh, Lord.
And she came home with every single piece.
And a payment arrangement.
Huh?
And a payment arrangement.
Yes, they came out of his paycheck. Except I believe we recently bought the meat platter.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to find the dip set. I think I'm missing one lid to a pickle dish.
Oh, good God. I'm sorry. I just know. Like, it's not like I don't know what these things are. Like, we had them behind glass, and that's where they live. Because no one trusted us. Like, again, my mom and my grandmother lost their innocence on this idea of like, children.
Mm-hmm. Which we
and
have
nice shit. No, I'm just saying, they lost their innocence on this children and nice shit concept. Like, no, they're mutually exclusive. No. You pop out a baby, you just give up having nice things. Ever. For the rest of your life. Like, because it doesn't matter how old the baby gets. The baby can be 65. They're still going to break your shit.
Well, that's because, your father never grew up.
Basically. But no, I mean, it's just, it was one of those things. It ended early for both of them. Like, Mom never could have nice carpet. Like, she gave up. She just completely flat out gave up.
Well, she was in West Virginia.
With a husband working construction and multiple children.
Exactly.
I don't know what she was thinking either. Like, no, Mom, you can't have nice carpet.
No, that's when you put in hardwood floors or tile. We live in West Virginia. We don't get carpet.
Like, honestly, Mom would have benefited by having tile floors and a damn drain in every room.
Exactly. At least you can hose your father off when you got the smelling too bad.
No, I'm saying, I'm not kidding. Mom would have benefited from this. It would have made cleanup so much easier. Because at various points, okay, so you have, at bare minimum, out of my family, 3 construction workers. And I'm talking in adulthood. 3 construction workers. And then 1 more that works in a construction adjacent field. Okay. Meanwhile, back up several years, and while in high school, one of my brothers was racing. Race cars every weekend, all night long, drove the neighbors crazy. Oil, gas, you name it, all over the place. Then one of my brothers raced motorcycles. Same shit. Just smaller and fits easier.
All right. So comment below. One.
Okay.
How, if you're watching, great. Thank you for your comments. If you haven't comment. I want to know this. How many sets of dishes do you have and what's their purposes and use? I'm used to the Brendo system of things. Except mine was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then, of course, the tea set, which we still have my elegant tea set over there in a lovely case.
And then I also have to put one more question.
Okay.
Then I want you to comment for my own edification. Did your glasses come from a store in a set marked drinking glasses? Did they come piece by piece from, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, as in you bought 1 glass at a time? Or did you have drinkware because jelly came in that shit and it's a nice glass? Which one?
Mhm.
Which one?
Or, and I want to know if anybody remembers when you bought laundry soap that matched your china pattern.
Oh, that's going back a ways.
Hey, we got an older demographic.
But that's going back a ways.
Again, we got an older demographic. I remember saving green stamps to get a certain set of china.
Oh, see, don't bring up that story. You start a war.
Why do I start a war?
I have told you that story.
I understand that one.
How do you think that came to be?
Uh-huh.
Green stamps.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It was gorgeous china pattern. I'd kill my father.
Oh, no. See, my grandparents did that for the 4 original grandkids, i.e., there was a point in which there shouldn't have been another grandkid, but I had to come along. They didn't even try. Like, it was beyond that point of life that, like, there was not getting a 5th set of dishes. Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with this. None whatsoever. But there was an inadvertent war started over one of the sets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was no.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, green stamp dishes, just as a side note, is like I'm still traumatized. There was so much anger. Oh, good God. How many? No, Brenda. Good Lord. Is she on the $25 a month? She should be on the $25 a month Patreon package because she came from money.
Well,
Which glasses? The jelly gas station in boxes of stuffed ones, the drinking glasses, the aluminum ones for outside summers, the bar drink ones, the crystal that only came out on special occasions. See, that's too many goddamn glasses.
I've actually owned all those. I inherited all those.
You have overglassed yourself.
Well, it's like there's teacups, there's coffee cups, and then there's work cups.
Oh, you have overglassed yourself. Like, no, we own that much dishes and glassware. I need a Rosario. That's all I'm saying.
Telling you I need a Rosario.
Remember the aluminum sets from the Bucket Factory? No, I
Yes.
do not. I don't. I got nothing. Like, do you know how close, though, I've come from picking up the aluminum ones at Kroger?
Those are the new ones that dent easy. We're talking about the ones you could throw at somebody and they just crack them in the head.
But no, I don't remember these sets.
Yes, I do. There may be a setup of the camping stuff.
Oh, God, no. There's more crap. Oh, why is there more crap?
It's my father. Like I said, Gizmo's opening up a treasure trove that we have to go and deal with this summer.
God.
I'm about to find a whole nother bar underneath there.
Oh,
or a whole other room.
Huh. What is with y'all? Like, I've already heard the horror stories. He had enough glassware in this house. Not you, but your father had enough glassware in this house at one point. And I thought it was exaggeration for a while, but now I'm starting to really, honest to God, believe it. Enough glassware to start an actual bar.
And not have to wash glass for 2 years at profit. But you got to remember, honey, we grew up in coal camps. Everything got fucking covered by coal dust.
Yeah, I got that part.
Like, you opened windows because it was hot. You didn't have AC. So you had to have separate sets of dishes. Because you wash one set, breakfast set, you're hoping that the cabinet got closed fast enough for the coal dust not to blow onto the damn dishes in it for lunch. And while the breakfast set is drying, you got to get your dinner dishes washed up.
Still, though, too many dishes.
No.
Use a plate, wash your plate, use it again. Everyone survives. Everyone wins.
And then you have to have 20. You heard Mom talk about the family dinners when both families came. Y'all guys talk about eating in shifts. Hell, we put up tents in the backyard. It made
Well,
it
that's because
easier.
That's because, well, my parents bought, my grandparents ended up with the world's tiniest kitchen. I'm not exaggerating. That kitchen was tiny and had a table in it. And then there was this whole idea that the living room was supposed to be a living room, dining room combo. And I'm like, bullshit. We tried it. We did. We set it up that way, and it was a joke. It's like, yeah, if you're a family of exactly 2, like, that's it. Like, no, no. See, Mom got tired of replacing shit and having shit broken. Like, we just got jelly jars. Like, I think Mom specifically bought jelly not because she liked the jelly.
She liked the glass.
She liked the glass. And for like 69 cents,
it's a free glass.
She'll put up with some freaking strawberry jam.
Well, you throw that in a cake and hand it to the neighbors.
Yeah, or something like that. You know, I mean. Yeah.
But when you've got Christmas and Easter, especially fucking Easter for some damn reason, there was always people around for Easter.
Though, then again, for the longest time, I thought juice glasses were supposed to be this big. And like that big around.
Yeah.
No, that's just what that damn pineapple spread comes in.
Yes.
Like, I love that shit, and so did Mom. We had enough damn juice glasses. I use air quotes. Juice glasses. Like, we could have done shots all day long. Like, we could. Like, I guess did double benefit. I was thoroughly convinced for years that was the amount of juice you were supposed to have every day.
Like,
well,
it's like one Easter, we cooked 6 turkeys and there was not a leftover on the table. And we're not talking little ones. We're talking turkeys.
Oh, no. No.
But we do appreciate our baristas. You guys are amazing. You guys are fun. You keep our commentary interesting, and at least someone remembers some of the stuff this old man says. Now, we will be back Friday night, and we will be covering hot topics. There will be news in the air. Of course, Johnny Depp was on the stand today, and you can go on and hear my comments about this trial. And, of course, there's other things going on in the news. We're looking at you, Kentuckians.
Oh, and then we have a fun article.
We have a few fun articles.
Oh, we have one that's especially fun.
Yes.
Should we give him a hint?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, Vanna will take it away now. So we, of course, want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Guest, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, and Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become one of our Patreon sponsors and receive all the wonderful benefits that our baristas receive, please visit us at PCSPnetwork.com.
Yes. All right, y'all. You have a great night. Stay safe. Stay sane. May your Wi-Fi hold out. Good night.
Bye.
Stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now.